Hey, welcome to the Grilled Cheese. We're here with our good friend Mike Martin, and we're going to ask him a few questions and talk to him about music and stuff.
Yeah. So, Mike, you sent us some music. Wanted you to talk about that a bit. When did you record it? Inspiration for it, etc.
Yeah, the single there, "Long Gone Train." We finished the recordings down in Folly at Omar's place, Fairweather.
Oh, nice.
You familiar with it?
And that's right by Burt's?
No, I thought so too, but that's not where the studio is on Soul Agree.
Oh, no kidding.
It's this cool place. You drive down this lane, and he's got this badass open room. That's where the video stuff is from. If you've seen, we put that out here in the last week or so.
Yeah. I didn't
But that's
realize
in
that.
our studio. But what we call the rhythm bed, which is the bass, the drum, and guitar. That's kind of the way that we try to get the starts of the song. We did that. That was our first one we did here at the studio in Muncie, where I'm at right now.
Oh, I didn't realize you were in Muncie right now.
Yeah, I'm up here. This is the market. This is like the Burt's kind of concept.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
You know, because I thought you recorded those new songs in Muncie. I thought that was a place in Muncie you recorded that from.
That's where we started up at, and then I'm getting a setback. And then we took it down there, and Whit Alger did the keyboard, and Will Evans did all the mixing, which Will's from the 27s and a couple of the bands around there.
Right.
And then Omar, I love working with Omar. So we finished that, which is kind of one of the things we want to do here in Muncie. Is I want this to be like a capture studio,
Right.
where if artists want to come and really work on tracking before taking it to the next level, to do something. And so that was one of the things we're doing with this is trying that out here at the studio. And so Long Gone Train was started here in January of this year. And then we finished it up in March. We're right in the middle of touring on it when things all seem to change.
Yeah.
And then change again.
Are you working on a full album with those songs, or are you just keeping those as singles and moving on and writing a whole nother concept type album?
Yeah, not with those songs. Those songs were all Long Gone Train is actually about pop country music.
Okay.
Just how, I guess, my disdain for it, and the idea of a real country blues song that can make people dance, because that's what you hear why the country labels don't want to. They like basically, and I love hip hop, but they love like basically this hip hop about tractors kind of thing.
Right.
Music.
That reminds me. Are you still doing the radio show?
Yeah, out of Asheville, North Carolina, every Sunday, 7-8 o'clock.
Yeah. What's the name of the station?
Yeah, 105.5 The Outlaw in Asheville, or outlawasheville.com. It streams, but it's actually 105.5 here in Asheville.
I guess another question: are you going live to engage with fans at all?
I'm going to again soon. I'm really excited about everything people have been doing with that. But for a moment, we were just really trying to fit. We were right in the middle of doing this tour and finishing up the song. And so I really wanted that to be the first thing that we put out, because we had worked really hard on finally feeling like we got part of that sound that I've been going for all these years.
Right.
Real.
Mm-hmm.
I actually told a couple people, it's funny, I talked to you, I said, this buddy of mine told me in Charleston that he was ready for some of our really good old country stuff, that our pop stuff was something. We were laughing about it. You would ever think of it as pop.
Right.
So that was exactly like that conversation actually shaped us. We have a version of the song that's going on the record that's very like 50s, like maybe Chuck Berry meets Alison Krauss and Robert Plant.
Right. Cool. I feel like you could do that with a lot of your songs, actually. Do one that's because, it's just taking their same chords and either adding more instruments or adding a piano like you did in the new song. I
would want to cover them and do that,
Yeah. Even taking some of the old ones and then redoing, bands do that all the time. Re-release the same songs in newer, better ways, or different types of ways.
No, you can do that. We've been going through the material that was from our old stuff. I think as an artist, right, you're always wanting to push
new stuff
because it gets, you don't feel like you're creating.
Right.
Though, from a business perspective, like we went back and said, okay, whatever didn't go on that kind of greatest hits of the early days that the label did, let's take the songs that, like you said, deserve actually a lot more attention and a lot more focus to arrange them correctly, all the things you're talking about. So that's some of what's on the new record. The new record's called Home. Incidentally, we're all at home for now, but that wasn't part of the plan. As part here to Muncie was to get with my just good friends that I've had all my life and say, let's make this record I've always wanted to make, and I want to call it Home, and I want to make it here in the market, and then take it, out on the road. And so that's what we're doing now, since we got a lot of time. But
right, yeah. I'm hoping everyone can start creating some more music, at least for a little bit. Hopefully, this is like the golden age of singer-songwriter type music,
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great possibility. I personally, though, I respect, that we need to do the right thing medically.
Yeah.
I don't like what's happening overall. I really don't. For just people, right? For gathering, for, to me, the idea of thinking that part is what needs to. I love the idea of less consumption. There's a lot of positives. Don't get me wrong. We come in as a tribal species for a reason, and we need each other, And so I don't know. For me, I haven't felt super inspired to write, though I have felt inspired to produce. It's just interesting when you said that.
We need all aspects of the team, a producer, the writers, the performers, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, as long as you feel like you're getting in and doing something, if you're not feeling inspired. I mean, as of right now, we had an album that we were working on that's been put on hold, working on the show and stuff like that. So, it happens.
That was amazing. When I first started seeing you guys launching, I just was so happy and smiled thinking about being in the garage with you guys.
Right.
And which is really cool. It takes years and time to do this, man, and to see that, those years you guys kept following through and launch. So I'm so excited to be on the Grilled Cheese Show.
Yeah, right. Happy to have you. I wish we could have done it a couple months ago when you could actually be here.
Like, we'll improvise and overcome, and this is community for now.
Right, exactly. Well, and that's the thing to remember about being together, though. It's like we are separated, but we are connected still through the internet and stuff like that. So, I know a lot of it's based on touch and hugs and this and that and physical contact, but at the same time, this is what we got.
It's unprecedented, right? There's never been a time where people could have communicated like this before, right? There's certainly not the pandemic throughout human history. I've been reading up on them just because it's such an intriguing thing. And I was reading that there was one in 165 AD when Marcus Aurelius was the emperor. And it lasted 15 years. If you look it up, there's a couple of great articles on Wikipedia about it. But you just think about, again, how long is something like this going to last? Will there be a normal again?
Right.
The last major one in Rome there was 15 years.
Yeah.
And just putting that into perspective, going, what if this lasts for 15 years?
Yeah. I mean, I just saw a thing about how the first Spanish wave of the Spanish flu was like 1 to 5 million, and then the second wave was 3 times that much, or maybe more. I can't remember exactly.
Where we have to do to take the necessary precautions.
Right. I am confident in one thing is where we're at in the medical field now, to be able to
that's a major difference.
Truly figure something out and hopefully, I know for a fact things are going to change. All the things we ever talked about, hopes and dreams, if things are going to get weird, and I'm hoping for the better, and I'm keeping that positive outlook,
For the bottom half, the working people, right? Times when it's down can be opportunities for us because we've already lived this way. There's nothing new to learn, right?
Right, exactly.
For a lot of people in power structures that are challenged who've never had to, adapt and overcome as much, it can be an opportunity, no doubt. So, this was never possible before in one of these when I was
right.
on. The fact that we are able to do this is unbelievable.
Yeah, this is science fiction. I remember in the 90s, them talking about video phones and it just being so out of reach, and now we have it on a handheld device.
Yeah, we're recording this while reading from here. I got my phone here, it's just, it's
and
wild.
Like you said, we're existing together in real time on
right.
Wild shit.
Yeah.
It's a lot like,
I'm not writing you a letter being like, hey, send us your cassette.
Well, we talk about EPKs and stuff like that a lot over the years. And I mean, I couldn't even really imagine email or mailing somebody a pack, with a picture in it and all this stuff.
Yeah. And just hoping that they take the time to open it up, to pull it out, put it.
I actually worked in a casting office in New York for a little while, and we would get hundreds of headshots pretty much a day. Submitting for everything that we were casting for, and all of that's obsolete. But the actors would spend hours putting together these packets that cost several dollars a piece to put together.
Yeah, and then mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then I don't know what they called them in acting. In music it was just press kits, right? It wasn't electronic press kits.
Right. Yeah, just press kit. Yeah.
It took hours and sometimes weeks, right? I mean, to put this together, to assemble all of it, and then be able to actually get it to a printer, compared to today, you can package it up and they'll drop them off to you, right? Probably the next day.
Yeah, I heard stories from Todd Brown about when he was in his young punk rock days about just like having to do that and calling people and faxing people and how trash it was at the time, When
I first had Docs, it was just starting. Facebook had not quite taken off yet. It was 2006. And so it really, I think they opened it to the public in 2007 or 2008.
Right.
Versus just, and so it was right there, and MySpace was going out, and it wasn't the way business was done. Right, and I remember there was a girl I was dating at the time. Her name was Bree, and I'm going to Ball State, and she told me, she said, "Oh, there's this new thing called MySpace, and you need to put songs on here."
Right.
And she's like, "Well, what is it?" She tell you all about it. She's like, "I know you kind of like computers, because the internet always intrigued me, but there was no social media. Like you said, the idea of our phones doing all this wasn't a reality yet.
Right.
It's like 04, 05 leading up to this, when we had the music venue Docs. And watching it change, and all of a sudden, nobody wanted you to mail them anything. It wasn't only a pain in the ass for you, or a pain in the ass for them, it was a pain in the ass for you, for them to receive it. Look, man, I got all this mail coming, and I got to go through it. And why don't you just text me it or email it to me on my phone?
Right.
And I remember I just started to change and watch it and realizing, like, man, this isn't the same as it used to be, and it's not going to be the same.
Yeah. I mean, you had to, if you wanted to have a successful company, or venue, I guess you had to make that change, or you would be just overwhelmed.
And you hear this right in the scene all the time when people go, "Oh, well, it used to be like that." But the truth is, in the artistic world, it doesn't matter how it used to be.
Right. Yeah. What did you just say? Overcome, adapt, overcome.
Adapt and overcome. I think that's like military stuff.
Right.
Isn't that the Marines?
Yeah. I wanted to ask you too. Where can we find your music?
Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. But that single I just sent you guys, MikeMartin.hearnow.com.
Okay.
I got everything and a link to all the streaming sites. So just MikeMartin.hearnow.com.
Another question I had. You were connected with the Goose Jockeys, and I know that now is a weird time, but any future hopes for the group, or kind of bringing that back together?
Absolutely. I haven't had a chance to connect personally with a lot of them, but a couple people, just that I stay in touch with. Ian and I were checking with each other to make sure we're still alive and okay.
Right.
In these crazy times. But I don't know if you know what Renee Orth has been doing.
With the food bank, right?
They're working on the big food, the Earth Fair, turning that into a local grocery co-op. Amongst other things, some stuff with the COVID-19 organizing on the ground up level for helping people in Charleston specifically.
Right.
So I've been watching all that, though I've been here in Muncie trying to work with the people here because, like you said, everybody's in this together, and this is home where my family is. And luckily, knowing things like Good Sharing Network, the things going on at the College of Charleston, all that, everybody that I know through you guys, there is a great network there.
Right.
You can get a hold of charlestongood.com. Todd, Chaz is really the guy to talk to if you want to get connected. If you need anything, Todd or Renee, and you're in Charleston or the Low Country area, look for them online. Again, Charleston, good get hold of Todd. I guarantee you they are boots on the ground working their ass off right now.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit them up. You know, I'm glad you reminded me of that. And Todd.
I thought of 20 faces when you said the Goose Jockeys.
Right. Oh, so we also worked on projects from the block up. I feel like now thinking about that whole model this is like the absolute best time to, move forward with that maybe not right this second, for time management and whatever, but.
Well, Renee and these guys, I feel like to a degree that's what they're doing.
Right, exactly.
Blockup.com.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, I think, always the idea as Muhyiddin had envisioned it, right? Is this network of real people. And I think you're right. Another gal that is there locally was talking about this, and she was good friends with Muhyiddin and had mentioned, it'd be a great time if we had something. And I, just sent her a message, this is what From the Block Up's mission really is, right? I mean, this is, like you said, right now is the time more than ever when people need it, that if, they had a network of people. I think a lot of people were really caught off guard right now by all this.
Yeah, right, right.
A little too late to react. By the time you're reacting to it, right? I mean, it's too late to really
Yeah, no, I mean, I know you consistently keep up that same ideology, so it's the same, and I hope we can figure out some way to work together and, try to, I definitely want to get in touch with Renee and Todd.
That's one of the things we're trying to do here in Muncie with the market, and the idea of the common market is that just like a Bird sort of Queen Street grocery to relate it there, but I got the idea in Charlotte originally when we played there is that this is an open source franchise that once we get it right here, and this is where I'm at the market now in Muncie, and we now own this building, so we're able to kind of look towards the long term of this. And that's one of the reasons I'm investing here in my hometown. The idea is that this is a franchise model that we're not going to charge any franchise fees for. We're going to let people download the whole system for free and begin taking an old building in your area if you need to build a venue / incubator / art co-op. This is the model and how you can do it. So that's what I'm doing right now. And then with the farm, duplicating really what Jermaine's done at Fresh Future Farm. We actually, Craig's story, a lot of divine intervention in reality.
Right.
But we own a factory and a couple acres right beside this market here now. And it's huge. If you look it up, plankbrothers.org, it's a couple acres, and it's a 15,000 square foot factory. And again, things just keep kind of unfolding.
Right.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
So this is what we do is we get these models down is to document them online, things like FromTheBlock.com and the common market and make it to where these systems can be duplicated in any community. That's what I'm doing to try to get it ready and utilizing what Stuart from College of Charleston.
Right. Yeah.
His talk.
I guess, the From the Block Up is there's other ideas like it and this and that, but, and I love seeing it already happen, but, I guess you just have to test it out yourself, to write it in, and then maybe we can come back and figure out the more technical side of it, because you're in the mix doing it right now,
Well, and for me, that's kind of what I know now is what I can do is work on a cog in the wheel and work and show right that and then because it is hard, right? It is such a big thing. There's so many, and it's certainly not the only idea like it.
Right.
And that's what the idea of an open source way that utilizes it as a database that empowers the network is really the way to do it with no profit model in this one. But one of the things I realized in doing all this stuff is one of the things that didn't work at Doc's Music Hall, which was an amazing music venue for almost 20 years, but it wouldn't last forever. And that's what we realized with the sustainability we want. And so to do that, I realized that I often was trying to do 10-year plans in 2 years,
right?
But I could never figure out why it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And so I've realized now, you guys with big projects like you guys have done, Cory's Grilled Cheese. I mean, having bands for many years now, almost a decade, right? That your time in New York is really, it takes 10 years to do an epic thing.
Right.
Something cool takes a look. But if you want to truly make something that's a game changer, you better be prepared for at least a decade.
Yeah. I mean, it's true.
So now I kind of, over the years, I've tried to eliminate all the other and only focus on things that I'm at least willing to give a decade to. And that's kind of where Cameron, you and I talked about the core four. That's eventually where I kind of got down to these are the four things that I'm going to spend my life on, because you have to pick something, right? You can't be a jack of all trades, a master of none.
Right.
You can't be everything to everybody. You have to make a choice and say, this is what I'm going to be the master, right? And I certainly can be so naively enticed into wanting to do everything.
Yeah.
Because everything looks fun. And that's what I've been trying to do at this stage is really, and it's why at times, right, when you and I talk about it, it seems like I'm just such a stubborn prick about it. But I just realized that just because it's a great idea doesn't mean I have to say yes. Actually, to owe it to the missions, the core four, I have to really be able to say no to these other things so I can focus on these.
Right.
But that's been hard. I learned that the hard way by falling on the face a couple of times by trying to do everything at once. And so that's my answer to what you're saying is stop back. Okay, start this project and think about if you started this, really trying to look at it in 2018, and now you want to have, so you're talking 2028 when I'd like to really see this thing be where in an instant, one click, and there could be 10 million people mobilized for a cause, from the block up.
I mean, I guess another side of this too is like we've had a lot more free time to kind of work on, what we're passionate about without, actually having bands in and stuff. So, I mean, it's been good for us. We've been able to like crunch a bunch of stuff that this would have taken who knows how long.
Yeah, if we were working full time, we never would have done this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Right? So what do you guys think the biggest thing that you learned in doing that is? Or what is the thing that you just couldn't seem to get done before that now you did?
Just organization, really. You know what I mean? It's like, and then going from organization to accomplishing.
And energy.
Because he's still doing the band stuff and I was still booking shows, but we still wanted to get this show going,
With passion projects, I'm sure you guys know, right? When there's no immediate money, but it's there if you put all the your work.
Yeah.
It's hard, man, to make time because life's demanding. That is one of the amazing things right now is people have had forced time to sit back and take a breath and go, why do I do all that bullshit?
Mm-hmm.
Because you realize like a lot of it is just not a necessity.
The one thing that I'm doing now is like diving into the news more and just reading more and just consuming all that stuff. And I'm constantly having to eat Tums. I feel like just to feel all right, So like
I used to be real into consuming the news and trying to stay up on it. I try to avoid it for the most part now, other than knowing enough to not put myself in danger.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm consuming for, so I can try to deliver, enough news that someone would need to know to move forward, or be aware of certain things.
Yeah, what a great idea with your platform as you're talking to, right? Because that is part of you want to be. I love podcasts. Obviously, you guys do too, right? You created one. And it is such a cool platform that you get to, communicate with people, but there is a responsibility in communicating. You don't have to. You could, some people are very happy to communicate, false ideology and those
right. And
but that's not what you guys are for sure. I know that.
Yeah, we definitely are not trying to spread misinformation or false facts or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, give the information that's being given to us by medical professionals, and stuff like that.
And just cross-referencing
the
articles, you know.
So
if somebody has something outlandish, well, it's like fact check that, and find out what the actual truth is,
That's one of the things that I've refrained from commenting on this and many other things. I've taken the Department of Homeland Security to court before,
right.
for music permit. And so I got really into it, and Monsanto particularly, and the March Against Monsanto is where I got into and started really just looking at some things in the world that I really didn't like about American corporatism. And so I really want to get involved in this stuff, and I've read up on it a bunch. And so when I see all this going on and I hear people going back and forth with this bickering, for one, I'm amazed that I just see a ton of hate. Right? I don't see a lot of people genuinely trying to help and solve things from all sides. I just see bickering and bitching like a bunch of spoiled brats. Really,
yeah.
I mean, just the whole thing is watching a bunch of preteens fighting on the playground.
All the testosterone in the room, they're just like nah, just the whole time.
It doesn't like it's in any genuine spirit of really trying to educate yourself, right, and have some understanding of an issue. And it's always been this way, but it seems that maybe people being in, and this is just yet another politically divisive thing. You wouldn't think it could be.
Yeah,
I mean, my God, it couldn't be any more divided. And then this comes and just drives a wedge through the heart of it.
Right.
And so that's what I do when I say I just don't like the whole thing. It's so scary. And like I said, there is a medical reality here that we're all dealing with that needs, addressed very seriously. And I'm glad to see that. But the world itself, I think, is not going to be necessarily better because just like you can see with, it has come to people beginning to draw arms, right, and go out.
Yeah,
This is just the fucking facts of life, right? I mean, this isn't a theory.
Yeah.
And, and so
and I get it. I get the fear.
That over time, over time, if you look at the trajectory of nations, what do you think follows shortly after all the last 20 years that we've been through?
Right.
I think it's unrest, right? I mean, we're not immune to it because we grew up in a modern time,
right?
Which is a strict. We grew up in a really cool, safe time in a lot of ways. A lot more I took for granted even when I was younger. But now you go, wow, like it really could happen anytime.
Anytime. Yeah. I mean, it's something that could be worse than this could definitely come around in no time, and sweep the nation again, or sweep the world again.
Right? I mean, really. I mean, fuck, if you can't survive as long as you're not sick, if you're in your house and you can't survive this, I mean, my God, imagine the Civil War.
Right.
It had to be, right? I mean, who the f wants to live that way?
Right. And I
got another 40-some years. I've never seen war. I sure as hell don't want to now.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want to. That's one thing about America is we haven't seen war on our land, like real divisive war, for a while. I mean, there's definitely been riots and stuff like that, but,
I've been listening to this business guy, Ray Dalio, who has a book called Principles. And so all of his investing advice is always based on these principles that he looks through history and says, if you follow the data, right, you got these. And so he has this new one where he breaks down what's been happening in the American economy and the world economy. And then he goes back to World War II. And then he says, in the 30s leading up to World War II. And then, and he shows all the similarities. We see this a lot with societal things. But to hear it from a fiscally conservative investor, right, to start to really come to the realization that, look, the data is there and mounting up. Right? If something doesn't change, we're on our way to some really, really bad times.
Was it last week that we did The Big Short? Yeah, so last week when we went live, we did The Big Short and, the housing market and, it's predicted how many years? Was it 10 years, 12 years or something like that was the time period from the beginning of that movie where he, realized that there was a problem to, the actual fall?
Yeah, absolutely. And
or the burst.
So Stewart in his class talks about this. The guy from The Big Short was one of the people Stewart knew in New York.
Right, okay.
But he was an investment banker. And you're right, and he talked about in the class that just like the housing bubble was there, the rest of the economics are there too. getting ready to have the same trajectory. The housing just crashed first because it was such an easy bubble
Right.
for everybody to get their on. But now we have a student debt bubble coming that's not going to go away.
Right.
A credit bubble that's going to eventually come back, and then people are out of jobs. And so, man, it's just it's a wild time.
It's a wild time. It's definitely a wild time.
The next 10 years will be something else. That's what I know.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can stay connected.
Hopefully the internet doesn't crash.
Yeah, hopefully the internet doesn't crash. That's what we're hoping.
You want to make any predictions for fun when we're having this conversation 10 years from now to end off on?
In the next 10 years, we definitely got to do a show together.
Okay.
All right.
You got to press the ball, don't you?
Yeah. I think there's going to be some really weird times in the next 2 or 3 years.
I think they'll be a very telling part of this.
Yeah, and I'm hoping in the next couple of years, the Great Awakening happens for most of the working class, which seems like it has, but there's still divisiveness here in certain ways. So,
like there's organizing, then there's execution.
Yeah.
We're starting to organize, right?
Right, exactly. So I'm hoping in the next couple of years things do get better. Even when they get weird, they're going to be... Well, I don't know. I don't know. It's so up in the air.
I think it depends on the leadership, and how effective they are or become in managing this whole situation. Because, ultimately, we have the potential to degrade into, dogs eating other dogs, or we could rise out of this to become a better, stronger nation and world. We need good leadership.
Well, you know what? I want to keep in touch on this too throughout the time, the closer it gets to November, about voting. Okay.
Absolutely.
And then I got one last thing. We did the from the block up. What was the name of it? Dang, I forgot. What was it called? The at the Purple Buffalo.
Yeah, the Unity concert.
Unity concert. We talked about doing that again this year. But I wonder if there's a way that we can connect some artists and of all types, music artists, visual artists and stuff like that, and create some other platform or event, online that we can connect some people and kind of do something cool.
Yeah, I don't have any great answers for it, but I think that's a great idea. Let's follow up on that with each other.
Okay.
Maybe something late summer. I'd give it a lot of time for organization. Or late summer, be 60 days or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Sweet.
it'll be really fun. Hopefully, Karen will be back in a week or so. Hopefully, I'll be back June 1st, assuming that things can be a little bit like normal.
Right. Yeah.
By normal, people are, out and about at least to some degree. If not, I guess we'll keep connecting like this for a while. Right. But again, when we talk about what's to come, if things don't have some normalcy, and I don't mean, we're going back to, I don't know that there necessarily ever be a normal like we once thought.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I do know. Throughout the next 10 years, things will never be the same as they were last year.
Yeah, that's a fact. I think that's a great thing. If anything, I would also say that we're going to see the end of gasoline as we know it. Yeah. Just like what's happening on a big scene. When you see a major shift like that in gasoline, and you saw that yesterday, like they went down to $0 a barrel. They said, well, how does that happen? And that's because literally, for what they were producing and what was consumption, right, the world is not the...
Yeah.
And so they're begging people to take it because it costs them money to store it and all that.
Right, exactly.
And so that's just like you said, that's just an indicator of what's to come because it will not be the same.
It will not be the same.
No.
Yeah. Well, all right.
Good. I'm ready to rock.
Yeah.
We're having Charleston playing music,
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait till we can actually go out and play some shows,
Absolutely. I'm ready. Believe me, I got an itch.
Yeah. I was just, I started sharing that 420 stuff from the past couple of years, you know, and it just makes me, you know, appreciate all those shows and stuff like that, you know.
I tell you what, I'll never take just a simple show for granted again, right?
Yeah,
if there's
right.
I'll play my ass off.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah. To two people, it doesn't matter if you know we don't have anybody coming over. So two people come over, I'd outperform myself.
Yeah, I don't disagree, man.
All right, Mike. I'll probably give you a call after we close out and everything like that, and make sure everything's good to go. It's fun talking.
Anyway, I got to jump back upstairs to. I'm working on an apartment here, so
Nice.
the work crew's still working, so I'm back on the line.
Yeah. All right, Mike. See ya.
Yeah, good to see you, Mike.
For you too, brother. Cameron, thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thank you. See ya.
Hey, good work on the show.
Thank
It's
you.
really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was Mike Martin joining us from Muncie, Indiana. If you liked that video, please go ahead and click subscribe and give us a thumbs up. If you have something to say, please leave us a comment in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.